Good afternoon, guys. So back at it again, back in the garage per usual, and it might be a little echoier than usual just because of the fact that I have the garage doors down again. It's getting cold, rainy per usual. I've got a bunch of things to talk about with you guys here today, a bunch of stuff coming up, so let's get right to it. First off, I actually finally have time to install this. This is the brake duct. I bought this brand new from Toyota, I want to say back in 2013. The Supra, since I've owned it, it's had one small issue. I shouldn't say one small. See, that's nice and brand new and shiny paint. I love the fact that it's literally perfect. This is starting to fade for one, but down here, if you guys can see, it's got a nice chunk taken out of it. Not sure why. If you can see here, the bottom of that one. Now, one issue is going to be, well, this black is not going to match up with the rest. I'm going to be taking the car down and getting it professionally coated, cleaned up, etc. The car has been needing it for quite some time. I'm probably going to paint a few items like the wing here, which is dinged up a little bit, and probably going ahead and have the front bumper and maybe even the hood done just to be safe. I had the mirrors and everything else done a couple years ago, but I feel like if I do all that, it'll clean it up quite a bit and look a lot nicer. That's the plan for right now. I don't know why I've held off for so long for putting this on, mostly for the fact that I think it wouldn't match perfectly, and it'll add to my 50 shades of gray that the car is already. The car needs a full respray. It's just, I drive it so much, I'm afraid to actually spray it and spend to treat it right, like 10 grand to truly pull the door, all the glass, jam it, do everything, do the engine bay. And it really is going to be roughly around $10,000 to do the car. And I feel like if I do that, I'm never gonna wanna drive it because I'm afraid to scratch or to do anything. $10,000 is a lot of money to then worry about scratching the paint constantly, etc. I know that's a really stupid reason to go about it, but you have to understand where I'm coming from. I mean, you're literally dumping more than what I paid for the MR2 into paint. Just paint. That's not, anything else. That's not seals that I need to buy for too, because I'm gonna have to buy new target top seals, trunk seals. All the door seals are worn out. There's a lot more that has to be done. So I would like to get to that here eventually, but I am gonna get it coated, cut and buff, do all that good stuff, and try to revitalize what I have left of the paint. Also wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to the people that do help support me in all this. Plus Soap, TCS Motorsports, and Kaizen Motorsports. Those guys help me out a ton. I can't help them enough. If it comes to detailing, I'm calling Plus Soap. If it's coming to anything with MR2, I'm calling Ty over at TCS Motorsports. And if I have any issues with the Supra, I call Jose over at Kaizen. These guys help me all the time. They've helped me since day one. Literally before I even had this MR2, Ty was giving me suggestions on what to do, what to buy, where to, how to fix things. Jose with the Supra here, he's pretty much done the same thing. Actually, he built the wiring harness, did all that good stuff. He's big into the 2JZ game sensor. I think he said around 97 or 98 out there in Southern California. So, I mean, he's been doing this for quite some time. So if I have an issue, those are the people I contact, and I recommend you do too. Link over all their information down below, their websites, and their social media pages for you. All right, let's get over to the MR2. I have to talk to you guys because I keep getting in the comments, over and over and over, K20 swap, K24 swap, K20 swap, K20 swap, K24 swap. I'm like, whew, y'all calm down. The car is going to stay a 3S GTE, and let me explain why. The car is going to stay a 3S GTE because the whole point behind this is to have it so when this is down, when I'm working on this, I have something to drive, something to enjoy. And on top of that, the 3S GT is a fine motor. You can build them and make good power. Now, the market for parts is not even close to the Honda game, not even remotely close. But the one good thing this has going for it, over say a Honda, setup, is the factory trans in this can actually hold power on a glass box, as I call it, as a K-series transmission. In factory form, when you put actual load on them, I know people are like, oh, Honda guys, yeah, well, you guys are gonna hate me for this too. When your car's wrong wheel drive, you're going against physics. So I mean, right now when I take off in the MR2, what happens? Physics push all the way to the back, puts all that extra load on the gearbox and everything, and these things still hold a ton of power. You do that with a stock Honda box, you're gonna fucking destroy it. There's guys that destroy them in a front wheel drive car. When you're taking off, you're taking all that load, all that pressure off the front end. So I mean, I get it. I mean, I understand what people say, but I think this is a fine platform. I think it'll work just fine. Now, I know the guys that do swap these, a lot of them put straight cut gears, or they do a dog box style transmission, and they hold all the power. I get that. But if you're gonna drive it on the street, I wouldn't like to think you would like to drive around with straight cut gears. If anyone's ever driven with those, they are whiny and loud as shit. I just don't want to have to mess with any of that with this car. This is going to be a true street car, kind of like the Supra is. Make decent power, but have AC power steering. Make it a true street car for me. It would be much easier for me to remove AC power steering. It would make it easier to work on, less to worry about. But then, I don't know, it takes that street ability away from it. And I don't know, it takes away the essence of the car for me. You know, I drive this car all the time, kind of like I do the MR2, and I want to keep it that way. With that being said, I would absolutely put more power to the MR2. Ty TCX had kind of recommended a couple turbo kits. They're saying around the 400 wheel mark. I might have to build the motor. Now it's mostly, I think it's the rods, or maybe it might be the pistons. I'm not sure which one. Usually on the 2JZ, the rods give out before the pistons do. The wrist pins, everything seem to last. On the 3SGT, I believe it's the pistons themselves that give out first. I think it's the ringlands actually on them give out before anything else. But the motor itself is pretty stout. It can handle a good bit of power. Like I said, the transmission you can literally make 700 horsepower with, no problem. So I'm assuming that's around 550 foot-pounds of torque, which is a ton for especially a four-banger. I mean, that's a boatload of power. So you would never have to really worry about anything. I wanted to give you guys an update too. The LED lights so far have been fantastic. I've had zero issues with them. A couple of people commented about flickering or having issues of that nature. I so far have had zero problems with that. They turn on every time. High and low beam were great there the other day. I drove them through the rain. They got wet. No problems, no issues whatsoever. I'm gonna try and keep you guys posted with that and see how long they last. I've read a lot of comments saying that they just don't ever seem to last. They burn out, or they just feel really cheap. With these, they seem nice. They seem to be made out of aluminum. The little fans in the back you can barely hear, especially with as loud as this car. As soon as you turn the car on, you can't hear anything. Even at idle, you're not gonna hear them at all. I would like to even think with a stock car, I mean a stock engine and stuff, you're gonna have more noise than what those little fans are gonna ever create. So I know there's some liquid cooled ones out there some people were mentioning, and that one might be a little bit nicer. But if you don't care that it has little fans, I think these were like 32 bucks on that one video I posted up. I think I put a description down below too, giving you guys 10% off. So it brings it down to what, 29 bucks? I mean, you can't really beat it for $29. I think my cheap HIDs I had in it were still like $50 back in the day, which was 3 years ago. So I mean, and there's a lot less to these. So I mean, I guess it's like a give and take kind of thing, but so far they've been great for me. I'm actually going over this car a little bit more in detail, just kind of like the dent here in the door. I need to get that yanked out, but kind of want to go over it a little bit more here and see what all can be fixed. Like down here on the front bumper, these holes here, I'd have to fill these in. Those there I'd have filled in. Make this a little bit nicer. The car just needs some, when they sprayed the front bumper, they did such a horrible job. I'm still upset with it to this day. This was a brand new bumper in 2014. The last one had drilled holes in it. So this is what they consider the 97, 98 bumper, which has a different turn signals, cutouts for them. And what else is different? Oh, there also is the bar that goes across there too. And I think the mouth is technically slightly smaller or slightly bigger. And there goes the lights. Oh, there goes the power again. We've been having like horrible like storms through here. Actually, I need to go check the basement to make sure we didn't lose power down to the freezer again. But yeah, so that was kind of crazy. But back to the car here, guys. Sorry about the power outage. Just going over with a fine tooth comb. Like these taillights are brand new. All the badges and stuff on it are brand new. I had them shave off here. I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned this before. If you notice, there's no rear windshield wiper. I had them go ahead and shave all that off. I also had them shave the antenna off, which a lot of people kind of gave me flack for. There's no need for it. I mean, I literally have the radio in there. I still get full signal. And who wants that big stupid antenna coming up? Maybe it will hurt it for resale one day down the road. I think it looks a lot better. The whole reason I also shaved off the front emblem, which now going back on it, I might actually buy one and put it back on. You can still see the little dimples there where they tried to fill it in and the filler came back up through. So, I mean, there's little things about, I shouldn't say little, there's a lot of big things too that aren't perfect about it. Some of the seals are deteriorating. I might buy new seals there. The door handles are completely worn out, and then around the edges of the doors here, they're nicked up, marred up. Around the door handle here, it looks like it's really starting to peel. The paint's really starting to show its age. I wonder if I can get the door handle plastic back behind there because it is really worn out. I mean, that's bad. And then stupid stuff like this. Whoever had it last, if you guys can see here, these little marks here, they're actually like chunked into the paint. Someone had it and did a horrible, and I mean horrible job trying to touch it up at one time. There's overspraying the door jambs. You know, I'm nitpicking it right now so I can show you guys. This car is not perfect at all. Everyone says it looks clean in pictures, and it does, but the car's 25 years old, 163,000 miles on it now, so it's not going to be perfect. And that's what I want to try to explain to you why I'm doing all this is you can have a project car, you can do all this kind of stuff. And take your time. You know, I've had this car now since 2011, and it's still not perfect. You know, I didn't have a bunch of money when I bought this car. I bought it because it was my dream. I'm like, I scrounged every penny I had left over after buying my house and buying another new car to get me from point A to point B to just keep it going and pay insurance on it monthly. It's never going to be perfect probably because I'll always be wanting to change something on it, but it's probably the nicest it's ever been right now, engine bay wise. Clean the things I've cleaned up on it. The interior could be a little bit nicer, but I think after I get the seats like rejuvenated, whatever they call it, I think it'll be much nicer back in there. All right, guys, thank you very much. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. I know I hate when I do that, but I wanted to kind of get some things caught up for you. The last couple of videos have been a little bit different and random. I just wanted to catch you up on where things are going right now. If there's anything you guys need, as usual, hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. I always try to get back immediately, but it's very hard. You gotta remember, I work a full-time job. This is just something I do for fun. This does not pay me. I try to do the whole advertisement thing. Just doesn't seem to pay. It's not a big deal. I truly enjoy doing this. I truly enjoy helping you guys. So if there's anything you need, please let me know. Again, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later. Peace!